Lunchtime Live with Andrew Black.
On digital radio,
FM,
your smart speaker,
and on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Scotland.
OK, the first Osprey egg of the season has arrived at Loch Arkaig in Pine Forest in Loch. Woodland Trust Scotland has been operating a live nest camera since 2007. Let's speak to George Anderson from the Trust. Good afternoon, George.
Hi there, good to speak to you.
Good, yeah. I think I badly mispronounced the name of the pine forest just there. You can probably correct me if I did. But so more good news then for the Ospreys.
Well, yeah, it's tremendous. This is by a week the earliest we've seen an egg. Ospreys across the UK seem to have come back earlier this year. I'm not sure what we should read into that. It might just be that the weather was favourable between West Africa and here. But both our Ospreys, Louis and Dorcha, arrived back much earlier than they ever have before. And this egg, as I say, is a week earlier than we've ever seen.
Right. And are you expecting more eggs this week? Is that right?
So they have a very regular kind of laying routine. There's usually 2 clear days between each egg being laid, and there's usually 3 eggs laid. So we expect to see another egg probably on Wednesday, and then a final one by the weekend. Right. And they usually stop at 3. Very rarely, some birds produce 4 eggs, but none of ours have ever done that.
And once the egg is laid, is that a guaranteed Osprey chick going to be hatched then, or are there other kind of issues that they need to deal with?
No, they have quite a hard time with it, and it's something that we always have to explain to our viewers, that it's not an entirely rosy thing to be watching. So the Ospreys at Loch Arkaig, I think, have produced 21 eggs since 2017. That's resulted in 11 chicks surviving to the end of the summer. So we've had eggs knocked out of the nest by owl attacks. We've had pine martins take eggs, and then there's just some other eggs that they just don't hatch. So it's an up and down business, but right. The overall picture is great for Ospreys. They're expanding year on year in the UK. We've got about 300 breeding pairs now, and most of those are in Scotland, but increasingly they're in Wales and right down to the south coast of England. So they're a real natural good news story in tough times for most of the environment.
And how long do the Osprey chicks stay in the nest before they can then sort of fly off and become independent?
So they're going to hatch at the end of May, and they'll be flying by July. And the point I always think is amusing is, until that point, the entire world has been the size of a double bed, the width of a double bed, the nest. And by the end of the summer, they'll be crossing continents. So it's just the speed of their development is incredible to be able to watch. And so you start off with these little fluff balls that then go through their junior dinosaur stage, I call it, when they look quite monstrous. And then they get their full complement of feathers, and they're up and they're off.
Right.
It's an incredible thing.
So tell us the story about the cameras then on the nest, because they're very popular. I've already seen pictures of them being broadcast on BBC News today.
Well, yeah, this is the Highland home that everyone could see for free. You don't need to pay a fee. It's online for you to watch. And the first camera went in 2017, and Louis, who's our main hero of the story, he was there with his first mate, Ayla, until 2020, when the whole thing, the audience went through the roof during lockdown. It was just the perfect thing for people to watch when they were stuck at home. Unfortunately, his first mate didn't come back the next year, so he shifted to another nest with our female, which is where he is now on the second nest. And we've got a camera in there too, so we've never had both nests occupied in the live streams at the same time before, but there's been some birds around, and there was a young bird around this morning on the original nest. Right. So we're fingers crossed that we might actually get 2 families to watch, an experienced one and a novice one.
Well, that's fantastic. All the best for the Osprey breeding season in that case. That's George Anderson there from the Woodland Trust Scotland.